just wanna be free with my people to prosper and hold it down. Don't you sit and wait, contemplating on a revolution. The time is now. I just wanna be free. I just wanna be free. I just wanna be free. I just wanna be free.
Okay. Another episode of the Things I Wish I Knew About Money podcast. I'm your host, Camille Smith, and I just wanted to do a special shout out before we start and things. Fina, do you realize that you're on the 98th episode?
Wow.
Woo! And man, it's been a journey. It's been a journey. Just today, oh, this is what I was looking for. That's what I was originally wanted to play. But today I was looking at Anchor and I saw that we've hit 4,000 listens. Over 4,000 listens. Yo! Big up everyone that has been listening from day one. It's almost been 2 years, I think. Shucks. It's almost 2 years soon. I can't remember exactly when, but I just wanted to do a special shout out to everyone that's been here, and you're one of the people that are been supporting from day one, was sharing the story, being on, and just engaging with me every time I have an episode. So I want to give you a special hug.
Thank
Big
you,
up yourself.
Camille. Thank you. You're making me blush. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. And even though it's exciting time for the podcast and the YouTube, I got things to get off my chest. There's
Breathe.
always a time. There's always a time when I get upset and I just gotta express it. And then I was talking to you about it and you're like, what? Let me come true and say my experiences as well. And I thought, yeah, that's an amazing idea because it just shows me that everyone, or not everyone, there are some folks that are experiencing this
True.
regardless of what age,
Yeah.
and I really think it should be discussed and how we can figure out what to do or just like give some folks tips and tricks about it
Mhm.
because it's annoying. It's annoying. And I know people are gonna be like, what are you talking about, Cam? So I'm I've been frustrated with companies, but the most frustration I've had as of late are banks. I'm
Yes.
not gonna say what type of bank or which bank. I'm just gonna say that I feel like they aren't looking out for us, and especially our um older generation. I'll say
I
that.
agree. I agree.
Like I was shocked and appalled like 2 weeks. I went and visited my grandma and granted my grandma is older generation, still goes to the teller, doesn't know anything about online banking.
But that
Um
shouldn't matter. That, like, whether you do it online or you do it in person, that shouldn't matter.
that's true.
And I'm guessing your grandmother probably had this account open for a long time, right?
Enough
So,
time.
and if she's going in, she's a regular. It's like Cheers. They should probably know her by her name. So the service should be of that same quality. Well, the expectation of that service. But go on.
Right? But okay. Granted, her home branch moved as of late.
Okay.
However, however,
Okay.
you know how to spell my name, right?
Yes.
My name is if anyone's watching, my name is there and you see my name, right?
Yes.
if you are going to open up an account, what do you have to bring?
ID.
ID with your name.
Yes.
So I'm looking at her bank statements and disclosure, because my mom was on my grandma's account before, she wanted
Yeah.
someone else to be on it.
That's actually smart. I was just talking to my son about that. He's
Mm-hmm.
about to turn 18, and I'm like, we're going to do some joint accounts because if anything happens to me, it's good to have access right away to cash.
Exactly.
And a lot of
True.
people don't think about that. We run off and we have like 5 different bank cards, and only one bank card actually holds the money. And if
Mm-hmm.
something happens to you, how does your loved ones like get
Get
like
access.
exactly, especially if you have kids? That's crazy.
Yes.
I want to make
Yes.
sure that whoever has my kids, they're not a burden. There's like some
Mm-hmm.
cash available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. And you know what? That's a good one because like the same thing happened. Like my parents had joint account, my grandma, my mom had joint account, so everything kind of, we didn't have to deal with prorate and all that good stuff, right? Um, but they had my mom's name correct. And I had to go in to the bank, the home branch, to give them my ID and stuff. Tell
Hmm.
me why them spell my name wrong. Eh?
It
I
always
was
happens.
I was so mad. I was like, I don't understand. I had to give you my ID. And then the only oblige that I'm giving them is that it's in a Greek area, and I
Hmm.
know that like some, not all, because I I gotta refresh before my friend kills me dead.
Oh
they
God.
they the last, if it's like a E sound, or not even sound, I'm not gonna say sound because that's
Because it was written
probably
down. Because it was written down. It was
yes.
on a card.
They just changed the E to an A, and I was like, what's going on?
Oh, I thought they like missed the E or an L. They added an A.
They put an A instead of an E. And I'm
Mm.
looking at the keyboard because they have to use a keyboard. Yeah, A and E is kind of close, but it shouldn't be that. It shouldn't
Probably
be
should be
that.
a W first.
So I'm about to go to them and cause hell. And
Really.
then and then I noticed that I was like, why don't you have a savings account? Why didn't they suggest a savings account to you and
Wait a sec.
stuff?
How long has she had that account?
She's had that account. She's been living in that area for over 20 years.
Okay. Do you think that's the
Over
only account
20. Yeah. Yeah.
that's been her own? Oh, so like
Yeah.
when she used to
B-
work.
There's a possibility that she had the savings account before and said close it.
Okay.
But if that's the case, I'm wondering why. Just because, like, you shouldn't close a savings account because,
But
things happen.
they have special accounts for senior citizens too. Like you have to ask for it. It doesn't automatically turn over, where you get lower fees or no fees that some banks have.
It's a lower fee. I know for sure it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
lower fee. But me
But
kind
you
of,
should shop around because every bank would charge differently. That's my honest opinion.
I know.
You must be
I know.
paying more interest when you're older. Like you've already done your time.
It's not even that. It's just like, why aren't you suggesting these things when you see a certain amount in there? And granted, because I should be more involved, but I don't even have access to it really. Now that I think of it.
But don't most banks have like financial planners or someone to sit down with you
Yeah,
and like
but
plan out your portfolio?
here's the joke. Here's a joke, and I
Okay.
think we've talked about this. If you don't have, like, if you're not investing about 250K, they're not even gonna look at you. And
Mm.
I think it's stupid. That's only my opinion. Remember, this is an
Hmm.
educational
Hmm.
podcast where we just speak our opinions. But there's gonna be certain people that you would benefit if you guide them and able to make them reach that certain area so you would get more commission, because that's usually the case, right?
Yeah, but I guess I understand, because if you're investing $200,000, you have a lot more in your bank account. So a lot
Mm,
more to move around, right? The
yeah.
idea is, and those commissions compared to, like, let's say $80,000 in the bank is completely different.
But
But
still.
I think what people don't understand about the bank is they're a for-profit company. So any decision they make, it's about
Mm,
money. How can we make more money? How can we make money faster?
mm-hmm,
So in the instance of your grandmother, she might have a large sum, but
mm-hmm.
to them, it's not
It's like
large.
peanuts.
So the interest, it possibly could be the interest that they're making on the bank account is worth it. Or maybe that is the cheapest account they can find for her.
Mm-hmm. But
I
I
would
just,
say
mm-hmm.
you do your due diligence, because banks, they're a facilitator of money.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Like, I think our expectations are high. I know I have expectations when it comes to the bank, but my expectations are minimal, because I can go back. I think I was about 17 at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a savings account and I wanted to open a checking account.
Okay.
Very simple.
Yeah.
And then you go in, you go to the teller or you go to the customer service, and they sit you down with an advisor, and they're behind their computer typing in the information. And just like
Yeah.
you, I gave my ID. The poor woman got stuck in a field. Because remember, computers started coming up, everybody's using them. There's no
Sure.
longer that black screen with the green writing. That's gone. It's time to fill in those tabs. And she
Woo.
got stuck. She's like,
Yeah.
I can't. And I could hear her getting frustrated. And she's like, I can't get to the next box. And I had to walk around to her side and, like, essentially fill the rest of my application.
Walk to her side.
So
Wow.
yeah, I have stories. Like, I've had these weird, like, I don't go into the bank often.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a drive-through ATM person.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
walk drive through. I'm more or less like a, like, tap that credit card and keep moving type of person. Like, if I have cash, it's a rare occasion. Somebody probably owed me back. That's the one thing
Mm-hmm.
I'm weird. I like, if you owe me money, I'd rather you give it back to me in cash.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I like it that way.
I
Anyways, I
mean,
digress.
I like e-transfer as well, but
Thinking about
cash
that
is
cold
king,
hard
queen.
cash, like, and then I get to sit on it for a while. Anyways, I digress. When we talk about the banks,
Mm.
it's simple things like that, where some of the training seems like it's outdated, or maybe they're not familiar with their software. But
Mm.
if it's a form of giving advice or opinion, I'll share another story.
Yeah.
I remember after my second son was born,
Mm-hmm.
back then, a lot more lower income. It was great. The government
You're
wrote to
so
me.
dumb. Shut up.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why it was great. I think I never really thought about money when I was young. It was so disposable, because I couldn't see a future and I couldn't see the real value of being
Mm-hmm.
responsible with money. So I was still living in the now back then. It was
Okay.
fun, but
But,
if I
however, hold on.
continued, but obviously if I continued, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be able to create the opportunities for my kids that I'm able to create today.
Good answer or
No,
good follow-up.
you gotta let me finish. Trust me. But anyways, I remember. I digress. I remember. Like, I'm digressing. But I remember specifically. I got this letter
Yeah.
from the government,
Mm-hmm.
and this is why I stand by investment, like RESPs. I got to witness it this year, and I'm like, I'm a believer. Okay, because my mom never believed in RESPs. I know we're getting totally off topic. She never
No,
believed
no,
in it.
no. That's
She never wanted
experience
to
though.
invest. She just
Okay.
wanted a GIC and then bye bye. Like, whew, GIC. Anyways,
A lot of mercy.
so I get this letter from the government, and it's like, if you open this specific RESP, we'll give you $500. Mama didn't rain no fool, eh? You're gonna give me $500 just to open this? We open this, mind
Yeah.
you. I had already had RESP open
Mm-hmm.
for my first child, and
Okay.
then I kind of just slid my second child into it.
Okay.
I
As
know,
like I think because there's rules
family
in
plans. There's family
Yes.
plans.
Yes,
So
yes,
each
yes, yes.
time if you have another child, you just add them to the pool of money. It's a great option when it comes to investing. You should do an episode about RESP if you haven't done one. I don't think
Did
anybody
it
did one
not?
specifically.
With
Yeah.
Kurt. Yeah.
Ah, I think I remember. Well, my mind goes
Mm-hmm.
off all the time. So the RESP letter said, create an account, put
Yeah.
$500 in it. I said, okay, this is great. I'm going to the bank.
Yeah.
So I book your appointment. You show up. The guy comes out. He shakes your hand. He walks you in. And I'm like, I want to open up. There's a different types of RSP account. Your bank carries it, and I like to open it up. He's going through his screen. No, ma'am, there's no other, or miss back then. But and he said that to me about 3 times, and then I'm like about to get emotional here. Where's my $500? Kids' education. So I'm going through my small backpack, my diaper bag. I've been looking for it because I'm like, I probably brought the paper.
Yeah.
I took out the paper, laid it in front of him, and I'm like, there it says, your government says it's yours. It lists your name.
Mm.
Magically, it appeared after that.
Boy. See, that's one thing as well. When it comes to like the banks, you gotta bring your receipts. You gotta bring the documents or the proof just to say like, no, 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 no. I saw this letter and all that good stuff. Cause you know what? Fine. They don't know everything. Fine. Fine. But like you should at least like say, no, it's not there. Give it a minute. Ask someone, one of your colleagues, maybe they know. Maybe ask your manager. You know, it could be something that's brand new and they haven't trickled it down to everyone, but you shouldn't just say, nah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Because
Like,
something brought me there. I already had an RESP. Why would I open up a second one just for fun?
don't get me cheesy, huh? Like, I'm still upset. Like, I and it's like how you said how your ATM or drive through ATM. I'm I'm more online based. So like I am gonna do a shameless plug. If anyone wants, I'm gonna like, put the card here somewhere. If you want to open up like a checking or a savings account, I am gonna send a link so you're able to open it up and there's a referral link. So but I'm more of an online bank because granted, I don't have time anymore to go into the bank. And you would think like the bank that my grandma's with, I was like, no, 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 I'm gonna come true and I'm gonna cuss them out. Oh no, don't. And I was like, no, what time? I start Googling. I'm like, what time do they close? And it's like 5. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no way I can get there in time. And my grandma's like, oh, you'd have to leave work or miss some days from work. I'm like, what? No,
Days, she said.
not days, hours, hours. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. However, the only good thing is they do open on Saturdays, but
Okay, that's
there's
nice.
limited ones
Oh,
that are open on Saturdays. Like,
now you were making me scratch my head. Now I'm gonna go look at different banks to find out which one this is. 'Cause I'm just like, what?
why are you closing at 5? Because there are some banks, I know the green one usually opens later.
24 hours. It
Not
feels
24
like that. It feels like that now in comparison to like what it
back
was
in the
before.
day. True, because like 4 o'clock, you'd have to leave. Like, say you get paid on Friday, and you get the check. Oh, I gotta leave early. I gotta leave at 2 o'clock because they close at 3 or 4.
3.
Da-da-da.
Yeah.
But thank heavens for like like now. The other day, I'm trying to find the check. I got a check,
Mhm.
went on my phone, took a photo, and it went straight into my bank. And I was like, yo, this is sick. But I because I'm busy and I'm okay with online, I do miss the talking to a teller or talking to
Mm.
somebody and getting to have that relationship with someone because
So,
mm,
like, as you say, teller, I think about the past few times I went into the bank,
Mm-hmm.
and it was to open accounts and it was to move some investments around, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was a time when you wanted to open an account, you
Yeah.
could simply go to a teller. Show some IDs, they'd fill it out and they'd give it to you.
And
But I
do they
realized
spell your name right?
yes. Well, now they definitely do because they flip that screen around to show you.
That
But the
woman.
teller is starting to do less and less things. It's
Mm,
more appointment-based banking. So I find
you're right.
now the relationship building is somewhat better in that
Mm,
I have specific people at the bank now, and I just call them and I'm like, they'll put me in the system for a meeting.
mm-hmm. Especially if you
I've,
have a home branch. So I
yes,
guess.
and virtual meetings now too.
Mm,
So
okay,
that's the new
that's
thing.
even better. So I think so what kind of tips could we give folks when it comes to if they want to stay with the big banks or if they want to go to the smaller ones which are connected to the big banks, so just that link. Sorry. I
It's a
I think
shameless plug for me. I love it.
always
Make sure to
always
click on the link.
dang Skippy. But I think one of the things that you just mentioned is um seeing if there's an option to do virtual, like a virtual meeting with them, so you can still have that connection and because when you know someone and
Mhm.
you have a rapport with them, there's things get easier in life.
It's true. It's true. Because even with my son, I opened up a bank account when he was younger. But now
Mm-hmm.
that he got his first job recently, we went back to the bank together.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an interesting experience. But it all depends on the individual that works at the bank at the time.
True.
But this gentleman was fabulous. Like he
Nice.
had a good conversation. He started talking to my son about credit card investment because he knows that's what's coming up next. And he's like,
That's
I
it.
want you to call me because I want you to come back.
See, shout him out.
But I'm flabbergasted because in all my life, no one has ever done that to me before. Maybe now because I'm
Yeah.
calling in stuff, but prior to, I thought it
Mm.
was an interesting perspective. But once
Mm.
again, this is individuals that work there
That's true. So
rather
it's
than a
always
whole
good.
mentality.
So I guess one of the ideas is interview the places or the banks or the branches that you feel more comfortable with.
Hmm.
And if there's a time when you say, you know what, I'm out. I'm going to a next bank, which I've done many times.
I've done over a check.
Mm-hmm.
I clear
Mm-hmm.
my check. They will.
Cause the bank knows who they is. And I moved real quick, especially when I had an issue when I came back from Korea.
Mm,
And granted, that was imagine your home branch, your
mm.
home branch. I lost my ID in Korea. I came back. All I had was my passport. And the guy was
Okay.
giving me hell. He's like, "Oh, how do we know?" I'm like, "Are you serious? My face is on this passport. What is wrong with you?" "Oh, where's your other ID?" "I lost it when I was traveling."
Really? Oh shoot.
"You know what? It's cool. Don't even worry about it. Give me my money." I'm going to a next place. I switched so quickly after that because it was my home branch. Oh, oh, I was so annoyed.
I support your decision because I could look back tax return. I
Mm,
remember because I'm not even gonna name the intersection because I name the intersection, the banks. But there's this intersection in Scarborough, two banks side by side. And I'll never forget because I got my tax return. And you
yeah.
know what we used to do back in the day? We used to get that check and we ain't no deposit. You switch that to cash. So I
Oh
walked
my.
in and the bank teller flipped the check over, stamped it,
Yeah.
and then was proceeding to like put it away, and I said, okay, like the cash, and she's like, oh, there's gonna be a hold. Government
Mhm.
checks don't have holds, like, because we'd be cashing those like from the first time you get that first tax return for a couple of years, you don't even know any better. I said, what? I was so confused. I took that check so fast back out of her hands and it walked out. I just walked out, went to the next bag. Here's the check. Next bag, flipped it over, kind of smirked at me, and I said, yeah. Called the 800 number, verified that, like.
Oh, I can't breathe. If anyone's listening, I can't breathe because I'm starting
I
laughing.
was like flabbergasted. I couldn't even understand what was happening.
That
Because it's
has
not the first
happened.
time I brought a check to this particular bank. It
Yes,
wasn't a one-off. It wasn't like I don't really use that account. No, I was using that account.
that's happened to my dad too, and he fully went to his home branch again,
No,
and they were like, "Ooh, actually, we're gonna have to hold this check." And I'm like, "What are
but it's
you
not.
talking about?"
But it's not like it's an obscene amount of money.
There, I don't know. I'm hoping the banks have um changed as of late. But I mean, like you can because you could just take a photo of the check. If they hold, if they hold a part of it, fine. But if they hold the whole thing, it must
But
have
okay,
mad.
but that also depends on your type of account, right?
True, true.
And I think a lot of people don't know this because, like, the
Mm,
average bank account, you deposit a check, it only
yes,
clears like $500. That's the base, right? You
but
gotta
that's
ask for more,
yes,
and
and
I
I
think a lot
think
of people don't know that.
you always have to up your daily limits and I guess your weekly limits as well. I've had to do that so many times.
Yep.
Um, I'm fortunate enough the online bank that we're gonna put here,
Click on the tag, click the link.
they are connected with a bigger branch or
Okay.
bank, sorry, and you're able to go into that bank and ask them to fix the limit. I'm like, oh,
Oh, okay.
go on. So I'm I just wanted to have a rant about this because I was annoyed. And I'm glad you were able to tell me some stories. And I'm pretty sure there's folks that have stories as well or like experiences with the banks and they're like, "Yo, give me my money. Give
Just
my
give me
check
my money
back."
back. Yeah.
So like I would say shop around,
Yes.
right? Shop around. Shop either online or the brick and mortar stores still, banks and stuff.
If you're going to the banks, book an appointment ahead of time.
True. True. And
Because
make sure
remember
you
that.
book it at a proper time
Yeah,
because you got to do it in advance. I
it's
realize
true.
that too,
Yeah,
which is
unless you got that contact number, build that relationship.
build a relationship. So build a relationship with the tellers or the was it bank manager because
They're financial advisors, investment advisors, the
it's
different advisors that are there. Build a
true.
relationship with one because
Absolutely.
honestly, it benefits you. Because like you think of your grandmother with the account and the money's in there and no one's giving her advice. I could think of my mother. She knows her advisor by first name. It's like we'll have a conversation and she'll be like, nope, nope, I gotta call Jeffrey. Like I gotta hear what he says on this topic. So it's
Exactly.
a
And then
different type of experience. So the trust is built.
exactly. I'm glad we were able to get this off our chest because I'm pretty sure there are others that have experienced or are going to experience this, but since they listen to this episode, they'll know what to do. And Shana, is there any plugs that you want to put? Because I'm gonna, cut this short just now.
So I want to talk about Vendrefresh, brand new
Yes.
vending machine and advertising business that I've launched. Is coming on board for all of your digital advertisement in workplaces and offices that you guys think that you need to reach out to people. Reach out to me and we could talk about pricing. It's a great opportunity. Look out for more information from Vendrefresh as we launch our new website in the new year.
Awesome. Well, I'll make sure I will make sure that I put it in the description and all that good stuff. And I appreciate you, Shana, for coming true. Because
I
it's always
appreciate
a
you,
great
Camille.
time.
It's always a great time.
Always a great time. And make sure, folks, I know you're wondering, this is a premiere, obviously. That's because I don't know. I'm going away for the weekend. I'm doing backpacking. I hope I survive for episode 99. Pray for me. Pray for me, and especially if the weather is cold. Please pray for me and all that good stuff. But you will be seeing someone since it's episode 98, there's 2 more episodes until the 100th, so it's gonna be epic, and you already know who's gonna come true. Actually, no, it's a surprise. It's gonna be a
It's a
surprise.
surprise. I was like sitting here in suspense. Who is it?
It's gonna be a party, guys. Like, it's gonna be a financial party. And
Okay.
good stuff. But on that note, make sure you like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and just keep blessing me with all the questions and the love, because you know me. I'm my love language is words of affirmation.
Words of
So
affirmation. Got it.
I need to hear it. And on that note,
Anyway,
God of Fame Music.
a ville, flip, flash, money, literacy boss.
Oh.
Flip, flash, money, literacy boss. Flip, flash, money, literacy boss. Flip, flash. Anyway, chop, flip and floss, money, literacy boss. Greatness in our blood because you're working for your cause. Flip and floss, money, literacy boss. Yeah, boots up your knowledge for your minimal cost. Yo.